Welcome back, everyone, to NRL Fantasy Analysis. Here we are. I hope you're having a great day. We're going to get started with the Warriors and the Panthers game. And I thought this one would be fairly close. It actually probably could have gone the Warriors' way, aside from the fact that we had a ridiculous amount of injuries on the Warriors' side. And if you got caught up in this carnage, if you had all three, maybe even four of those guys, then I feel very sorry for you. But I imagine everyone sort of had one of these guys in their team. If you got out of it alive, then well done. But we're sitting here with Tohu Harris. It looks like it's an ACL injury for him. Didn't look good at all. Obviously, just one of those normal steps off, and you can just see the knee wobble in there. It's crazy how easy it can happen, especially change of direction in the footy guys here. Obviously, they say it's a lot of, especially the hamstring stuff's fairly fatigued, but maybe these ACL stuff is as well, because it doesn't really happen often. I never even felt a chance of my knee going in any sort of stepping movement around. Like I play basketball and cricket all my life, kind of thing. So strange one, but poor Tohu. So if you held on to him and you've been dealt that big blow, and he's obviously lost another 89k, which has hurt over the last couple of weeks. That's for sure. Would have been really happy that he came back so early, and you'd play him and he gets 3 for your squad. So that wasn't good at all. Nicarima comes on and gets 7 in 66 minutes. So he has to go from anyone's side as well in this next couple of weeks. Also, if you like myself and have Roger, you lose him. You lost him to the concussion. We'll see how he goes. It was obviously a pretty bad one, so we'll see how he fares over the next few days. But I think did lose 19k, and I think that's about it's an okay amount. We can cop that, and I think I'm ready to upgrade him to Tommy Trbojevic, which I think is going to be a great upgrade and well needed, that's for sure. We also lose Wade Egan, who had a great start to the game, had a really nice try assist, line break assist through for Matty Lodge, and then got the try on the other end of it. So he was doing really well again. Someone who's been absolutely killing it lately, and you can see, got 25 and still only lost 9k, which means he's been going so well lately. So that's there with Wade Egan. Unfortunately, he's had some bad news as well, it looks like, with his knee. I haven't read the extent of it, but he could be out for an extended time. Let me know if I'm wrong on that one. But tough to see that happen. And they actually played a really good game. Apart from that, I think they would have won, obviously, if they had everyone playing. That all their big boppers had to do big minutes, and if you had any of those guys, which we'll talk about in a second, you really benefited from it. So we're talking about Lodgy and also Lodgy and Fanua Blake in there. Both had really good games. One with Lodge with 90 in full 80 minutes. So obviously would have got a rest at some point and didn't get that opportunity, but had 7 offloads and 10 tackle breaks. So very much a similar game to what Corey Harrower and Naira had, who ended up getting upgraded to 106, if anyone saw that. Just a really special game from both those guys. So Lodgy, got the line break and try assist there, back in for Wade Egan. Just an awesome game, and obviously got a little bit tired through the end of it, which makes complete sense, but an awesome game from him, and also Fanua Blake, who played massive minutes. And that's happened. That's a couple of times in a few weeks now, especially for Fanua Blake having to play sort of over 70 minutes with Tohu Harris getting injured. So if you've picked him early, then you've done really well. And he's still fairly cheap, and the question will be now, how many minutes is he going to play going forward? Is it going to be at like a 60 minutes? Is it going to be 55, 70? What's he going to have to play to keep these guys in check with Tohu out and the rest of the guys there? They do have a lot of cattle in the forwards, which is great for them, but they obviously had to play big minutes in this one. Philly Kickout with 2 tries there. Tavanga had been scoring well since he's getting that, and he's going to lock up that lock roll. No pun intended, to for the rest of the season now that Tohu's gone, and he's someone that just he can have massive games like you've seen with this one. He can someone that offloads the ball well. Can make a lot of tackles and do really well. So he's half an option, along with Fanua Blake at that pretty cheap price. Good to see To'o back, even without Cleary and Luai. Got a nice try, and also 280 metres gain. So he's going to continue to do that, and should average somewhere in the 50s, I'd imagine, for the rest of the season, like he's already priced at. Matty Burton with 61 was really good. So obviously got to play in the 6th role this time and did the majority of the kicking. So much better for him fantasy-wise if he's playing in that 6th role. Tyron May had a good game also, but with 3 try assists, but didn't have to. I think that works better for him if they play 6 and 7 like that. I don't know what happened the other game when he didn't get to play there, but if you've held on to him, awesome. I wouldn't be bringing him in, as you see Cleary and Luai come back fairly soon, and he'll move back to the centres. So that's that there. Leota with a nice line break at the end of the game, which bumped his scoring up. Reece Walsh, everyone has him, so I wouldn't stress too much, but he's got 3 line breaks and a try assist. Does some kicking as well. He's been great. 401k, he's gone up now. So awesome. He's a keeper in that wing fullback position. Moving down the line, not too much else to talk about. Martin did well. You got Edwards there, solid, but not really many other options in terms of this game. So I thought it was be fairly close, and all that kind of got thrown out the window. I thought Walshy would be a good chance of scoring a try, and then maybe a top or something. But yeah, I didn't really say too much about this one in terms of what the scoring would be like. So that's that. That's the first game of the Sunday, and then we get to two of the actually fairly entertaining. These two, the last two, surprisingly enough. Very close game. This Broncos Tigers one until right at the end. Can we seriously talk about Dewey? Like, I've spoken about him all year. He's their best player by far. So much better in the sixth position. Yes, I can understand he can play center as well because he's a good player. But at 6 he's so much better. 5 tries, just kicks good goals. Tackles well, gets the run meters, which is great, and then didn't even have to kick as much this game, and still went really well. So Dewey, I think, becomes a fairly solid option. Surely they can't change him, now and take him out of the sixth position, and it just frustrates me so much that I picked him up and he did really well, and then he kind of just stuffed me up, and I get a -5 or whatever. He got that stupid game in the centers, which won't happen at 6. So I'm still salty about it, and that's okay. But yeah, Dewey's half an option. If a few people asking, should I? Well, they say someone was like, should I trade Johnson for Dewey? And I think that's pretty silly. But if there's any injuries and stuff, then I'm quite happy for you to straight swap for a Dewey. I think that'll be a good option. Obviously, they won't play the Broncos every week and get a win, but yeah, he should do well. He should average around 50. Jordan Ricky came on after Rabadi got injured, played the majority of the game and got 76 in his 75 minutes. He was awesome. Good to see that. He had that one game at the beginning of the year, I think round 2, where he got the 70 odd, and he hasn't really been the same since. So good to see that from him. If you're someone like myself who picked up Payne Haas this week, that was the cheapest you were going to get him at 680. And then he picks up a 69 in his 64 minutes with a lovely try assist there. The little offload falling to the ground to help them get the lead before the half. And to play 64 minutes after Origin in the middle is an awesome effort. He's a very special player, so he needs to be in everyone's side. I think he's going to be someone averaging at least 60 over the final 7 games or whatever it is. Yeah, he's averaging right there. He's averaging there right now, but he's priced in the low to mid 50s. So I'd be selecting him as soon as possible. Turpin with another big game, just another one that is annoying me after having a great start to the year. And was it? Who they bring in? I keep going to say Corey Pakes. What's his name? Oh, well, I forgot. Irrelevant, obviously. Who took Amanu with 62 in his 46 minutes. Got a nice try at the end. Dane Laurie, if you're still holding him, then you got a nice 53, but I think most people would have traded him out. Tyson Gamble continues to do the job. He was scoring really fast. I think it was 40 odd I think it was 42 at half or something, and had a bit of a slow second half. But yeah, awesome work from him, doing a bit of everything. It doesn't matter if he's playing a good team or a bad team. He's still scoring around that 50 mark. So another 41k, and you just keep riding that out until you I guess someone gets injured and you need to play him, or you move him on eventually. But until then, he's an awesome sort of 16th, 17th man. Great cover for the halves. Flegler with a decent score. Leilua, anyone who traded him out like myself, he was the lowest out of my possible trade-outs with Schuster and CHN. So it's good to see him score 50, but that did include a try, guys. So just be aware of that there's the 30 odd or 40s around the corner for sure, always with Lucy. Brooksy with 45. I think it's about time that you move him on. He's just not one of the clear top halves, averaging 50 still, but I think he's ready to be moved on for sure. Stags, I think we can see him lose a little bit. I just don't see him dominating, being a 45, 50 point scorer. Like you got guys like Raymond and stuff. I think you're going to be a bit better in a better team. Stags really strong in defense. 3 turnover tackles was awesome. That's about it. Asako is much better on the wing. Tessie New was okay. If you're still holding him, he's making a little bit of cash. What else we got? That's about it, hey? Yeah, especially lose Rabadi, so he's going to lose a bit of cash now when he plays. That's about all, I suppose, with this game. I thought it would be a Broncos win, so I did get that wrong. I thought it'd be fairly close and high scoring, which I was correct on the high scoring, and Tigers sort of just ran away with it right at the end. So I was on the right track, to be able to pick that one. Who are my try scorers? I said Laurie was a good chance of scoring a try. I think I said he was due for sure. Didn't say Leilua. What else did I say? I think I only really picked the one. And Stags, yeah. So yeah, actually I did okay in this one. I just picked the wrong team. So try scorers was fine. But I suppose it's pretty easy to pick the try scorers when there's they're scoring so high. But that one's there with that game. We moved to the Bunnies and the Bulldogs, and I thought this would be a little bit more of a smashing this game from the Bunnies, and actually, it was very close the whole way, and Dogs actually had a good chance of winning this. So for Bunnies to only be missing Latrell and struggle this much, I think was really interesting. But really great signs for the Dogs that they can be in the fight the whole way, I think is awesome. So in terms of actual gameplay, I thought Johnson obviously scored a couple. He didn't. They got injured, unfortunately. Which sort of killed everyone a little bit. Graham went off early as well with HIA and didn't return. I had him in the same game multi, of course. But Murray was awesome, 78 in his 80 minutes coming back from Origin. So a few of these guys really stepped up after Origin. A few of them, like Ben Hunt, did not for their club team. So is what it is. It happens sometimes for sure, and it's going to be a new week coming into round 19. But Murray was awesome. He's a really good option, guys, heading into the rest of the season. He's 47k down from his starting price, and I think he'll be able to average in the mid-50s at least, and you get him as a dual position guy who's going to have these really high weeks and then sort of like the odd 40-odd week to round it out. So that's that. Cody Walker was awesome. A couple of tries, assists, line break. Just a bit of everything across the park. No negatives, which was really, really good. Still not one of the top guys, and he's going to be 71 into like a 33 kind of player. Tommy Burgess and Colin Matangi was 54 age, not really fantasy relevant. Josh Jackson did move back to the 13 role and did well, but did have 8 in negative. So, no attacking stats for him. 48 tackles, 100 meters is great. But 50 score, can't really complain, but you're hoping for a little bit better from Joshy. If we move down the line, Damien Cook just hasn't been good enough. Continues to lose money, and I think until anything changes with him, then you can't be picking him up. But he's still going to be that up and down type of scorer. For him to only run 55 meters, no attacking stats, is really strange. He did have 2 tackle busts, but 30 tackles in this kind of game is really weird for someone that Hooker is playing 80 minutes in a game where both sides split the ball evenly possession wise. And yes, there was a fair few tries, but 30 is a really low number. We also got Sewer host Milne. For anyone that picked him up as like a cash out option, you got 2 good weeks out of him in a row. But I don't think that people need many in the centres. Luke Thompson's kind of fallen off a cliff a little bit. Still averaging 52.6, but he was up closer to 60 for the majority of the season prior to this. 605k gets really cheap. I just don't see him as being a long-term keeper. Dane Gagai, 39, following Origin. You take that if you're owning him as a centre wing fullback. I kind of mentioned him as being like that really good third to fourth wing fullback, maybe like a top 2 centre. So you get that dual position, which is really, really cool. So I'd be still thinking about him going forward in a team that they didn't play that well, and he's still got 39. Reynolds is pretty low with 38. Again, one of those guys just on the fringe of the top halves. You got Averillo with 35 there. So this is the real big question now is that kick meters is really down. So we're missing to 10 to 15 points in those kick meters, and that shows you a difference between a 45 to 50 average, which was just really safe. Like it's him kicking goals, 4 goals there, 20 tackles, and then him kicking in general play. Obviously, him kicking less means there's less chance for attacking stats off a kick, for example, but also just that 10 to 15 is taking him away from being a keeper center and is getting him to lose money in a very high clip. So the longer that Lockie Lewis can stay in this team, I think Averillo becomes a little bit of a liability for our squads just for the fact that he's losing so much cash. If you're not worried about the money side of things, then I think you should hold on to him. But if you are worried about the money side of things and you have a lot of trades, if you're looking at at least 9 or 10 trades at this stage, which I don't think many people are, then you could possibly trade him. But other than that, I'd be holding steady with Averillo. If you have Johnston and you picked him up a bunch of weeks ago, you've done really well, but unfortunately he's going to have hammy injury, and I think it's now time to sell him. And you got him in a good price now, 634. Still got an okay score this week out of him with those 2 tries. Didn't have to do too much other than just finish. But yeah, now's the time to move him on. How good was the young fella? Was it Bailey, I think is his name? Young hooker off the bench for Dogs. He provided a lot of spark. Got a really nice try assist out of dummy half. Just darted through and put Shup in the corner. And then scored a try himself. So he was awesome. Great to see that they have some depth there. He's obviously a young fella. And he's a half, but came on and played a little bit of 9, which was good. Hopewade did okay. Ockenbaugh for his first game of the season, correct? Incorrect? Not sure. Graham was doing really well, 26 in his 22 minutes. Unfortunately, got the HIA, so he'll be back. He'll be okay. Just hold steady with Graham there. Tough, who got came in and played to help our people squad as we selected Mane. We had Teddy and Trbojevic out, which hurt. But I chucked Taff in there, and he ended up getting 22, which is okay. Obviously, not as good as Savage, as a few people have told me. Yes, I understand that. All the players can have a good game, right? A really good game. And Savage is very talented, that's for sure. Just thought he wouldn't go as well in a lesser side like the Raiders, but they actually have stepped up in the last couple of weeks and improved. So well done, team. One that picked up Savage, but we got Taft's score of 22, which is completely fine. Also, that's about all, guys. A few people talked about Matt Dury as a potential cash out option, and that's all he was. He was probably a little bit too expensive to be that option, but there you go, guys. That's the 3 games. I kind of had a few decent efforts with the anytime try scorers. I think all my tips got up except for the Broncos. I think I'm on a 7 of 8. 7 of 8, or did I miss the Raiders? I don't even think did I pick? I think I might have just picked Sharks. Yeah, I said close game, and I'll go with Sharks. So yeah, 6 from 8. Not the worst, not the best. We'll see how we go in a week. Round 19, that's going to be a little bit more stable in terms of the people that actually get picked in the teams list will actually play. That would be ideal. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that one. We'll get into the people squad and my team also in terms of how we went this week. Both improved, so that'll be really cool to talk about. And let's work hard into these final sort of 6 or 7 rounds and see what we can come up with, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you next one. Bye bye.